Hi, I'm Hillary Hess, and you're listening to Helping of Happiness. Here at Helping of Happiness, we help mamas to get a little bit more joy in their family life, and we help out with family recipes, family travel, home hacks, and with advice that we get from guests that are on this podcast. And I am so excited for you guys to listen to today's guest. We've got Whitney Archibald from the Family Lab. Whitney has had the craziest experience. She fell off a rock cliff when she was rock climbing, has had the most excruciating recovery, but it's so inspiring. And I mean, it's just awesome. Can't wait for you to listen. We are so lucky today that we have my good friend, Whitney Archibald, on the podcast. Yay! From the Family Lab.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Okay, Whitney, before we get into your story, which I cannot wait to get into, let's talk about just a little bit about you and what you do. You've been on the podcast, but it's been years, really, I think, since you've been on. And so I'm really excited that we can update everybody at what you're doing and tell your awesome story. So tell us about you and what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so I'm Whitney Archibald. I'm a mother of 5 children. Now, as of yesterday, they're ages 10 to 20. We have a 20-year-old in the house.
Oh, that's a big milestone.
Yeah, not in the house, in Cambodia, really far away, but he's on a mission. Anyway, so I've been raising my kids. When my youngest went to preschool, I decided I needed to start writing again. I was a writer, magazine editor before kids, and so I started a blog about parenting, and it was called How She Moms, turned into a podcast. And recently, as of like 2 years ago or so, I rebranded to the Family Lab because basically my podcast is about how family life is all an experiment, and we are just throwing things at the wall, trying to see what sticks. It changes within a family. Like some things work one day, not the next. It changes with different personalities. We're just trying things, and I try to give people a menu of things to try, and in all topics of parenting and home management, and hopefully the family can work together to experiment and figure out what can make you happy and functional and connected most of all. I think connection would be my key value that we're always trying to turn back to.
100%. And I love that. And you're right. I mean, for me, every kid, every age, every stage comes with new things. I mean, I have 7 kids of my own, ages 8 through 24, and it's just always changing, we're adding in son-in-laws into the mix, or we're experiencing things with like number 4 that we didn't experience with 1, 2, and 3, so
Totally.
It's just always different personalities and different opportunities and times of life. So
it's so liberating to know that there's not one answer or no one expert solution.
Because what if you don't fit that mold?
Yeah.
Right? Then you feel horrible, and that every mama's different and every family's different.
Totally.
So it's going to look different for everybody.
Totally. Yep.
Okay. I love that. Okay. Let's get to the meat of this, which is crazy. You were in a horrific rock climbing accident, and we just need to hear this story because for me, it's amazing you even survived and that you can be doing all these things in your life after this happened. So I'm ready to hear this story from your mouth and not just from some other source.
So it was the summer of 2023 in July, and I was just in Utah. I'm in Colorado, but I was visiting Utah. I took my nieces and nephews and one of my sons on a rock climbing trip that morning, and it was a gorgeous morning. I was so excited. I had just done another one with a different set of nieces and nephews the day before. We had a great time, so I took them to the same place. My son and I set up, and then one of the routes I just didn't think it looked safe, because I'm actually like really a safe climber. In fact, I always like prided myself on that. Like, people would say, "Oh, isn't that so dangerous?" I'm like, not the way I climb. It's not dangerous. And I, because I do all the double checks and the checks, and do it with a partner, and we check each other. But I didn't like the way the rope was hanging and it was scraping on a rock. I was like, it's not safe. So I climb up. and then move it over to another set of anchors. And, we're just sport climbing off some anchors. So I get it all set up, get ready to rappel down. And I realize I haven't brought up my rappelling device, and that's what you use to lower yourself down. And so I've already set my partner. We've done the checks, everything checked out. And I was like, okay, now you can go, on the other rope and belay my nephew, and I'll just let myself down. Well, I didn't have that device. So I had my brother send it back up on the end of the rope, send the device. And so then I got all set up with that device, and I kind of jumped over the edge, and started to lower myself down. Well, because I had already done my checks, and I had already made sure that both ropes were lowered down. In my mind, I had already checked that box, but I hadn't done it that second time. And my partner was occupied. I was using my brother as my partner, but anyway, I didn't do the checks that I always do. And that's all it takes is one mistake in one time. So I and I could see the rope going over the edge. There was enough rope down that I could see it going down. So it didn't occur to me that I hadn't lowered it all the way down. Anyway, so I get down, and, there's enough rope that I can get over the edge, and then I start lowering, and just nothing. It was so fast, and I just drop to the ground on my back, 30 feet.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was crazy. And it wasn't one of those, like, everything was in slow motion. It happened fast. I was just like up there and then on my back.
Wham.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so, the first thing I do is, of course, like, check to see, can I move my fingers and my toes? Am I thinking clearly? Is my
you're conscious,
head okay?
which is
I'm
amazing.
totally conscious. I'm looking up, obviously. And I'm like, just like checking in with my body, like, what is going on? Meanwhile, it's just on fire, like the most pain you can the most pain I can imagine. I don't know. There's maybe more pain that you can feel, but I don't know. Anyway, I mostly my torso is just burning, like pulsing, burning, crazy pain.
So at this point, does your family know that you've fallen? Or
yes,
like,
so that
okay.
Both ropes were right next to each other, and they all see me fall. My son was, I guess he was turned watching his climber, as he should have been doing. But as soon as, the commotion, and anyway, so yeah, they go into gear. My sister calls 911. My brother's talking to me, and I'm fully conscious the whole time. The first thing I say is, like, idiot. I'm such an idiot. Because I literally had just lectured my son, because we were setting up together, and I'm using it as a teaching moment. And I was like, the worst mistake you can make, the easiest mistake you can make, is short roping yourself, where you don't lower the rope all the way. So you check, and you have your partner check, and like, all the things, and you're supposed to, like, tie a granny knot at the bottom. A safety knot is what it's called. A safety knot at the bottom, like all the things that I know to do. And I had just lectured
it even
him.
worse when you knew better.
I know. I
Stabbed
felt so stupid, but that's what accidents are like, right? Like,
yeah.
I wasn't being careless, it just happened. So I was beating myself up, like, oh my gosh, how could you do this? And in fact, I had also been judgmental of other people who have taken a fall like mine. Like, oh, how could they do that? Don't they know to do the check? So they, like, so pride is a bad thing. Anyway, so yeah, so I just felt so stupid. But I actually had a very spiritual experience at the bottom of that cliff, and I felt reassurance right away after I was feeling so much shame. Like, you're human, you make mistakes, and like, yeah, like every question that would come up, and the one immediately after that, after dealing with that, like, I can't believe I'm such an idiot, was like, am I okay? Like, am I going to live?
Right.
Like
Right.
people die from this all the time. In fact, 2 weeks later, a woman with a bunch of children died in that same canyon. Like, I can't even think about it. So, and that was another thing. I immediately knew I was not going to die. And I just had a spiritual confirmation of that. I felt like I was having a one-on-one conversation with God, and I just knew, like, that was just a gift that he gave me. I think that I just knew I was going to be okay. So I didn't have to worry about that. I had to just worry about, like, triage, like figure out what to do and
Oh,
what was
totally.
going on, and but I just knew, and I that was a great blessing and a great gift. So then I just kind of went to, like, I had to take care of some logistics, like I had some interviews to cancel and stuff like that. Anyway, it was
Because you
ridiculous.
didn't
I'm like,
expect to be,
yeah.
like, at the bottom of the canyon with all these
Right.
injuries.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
all
And
the
so, like, I'm
decision
telling my
life.
sister, "Oh, I have, like, an interview with somebody on the BYU campus in an hour. Can you cancel that?" Anyway,
Oh my
but
gosh.
yeah, the whole time I'm just kind of having these existential thoughts, like, I need to be here for my kids. I need to be here. What are the implications of this? Like, where am I after all this? Am I paralyzed? Am I,
Right.
what? Anyway, so meanwhile, the I'm looking up at the sky. I can see, like, dragonflies flitting around up there. Like, I remember that vividly. Like, and I can hear people moving around. My son goes up and, like, takes down the other ropes and
Now, is
takes
this
care
your
of
oldest
business.
son? So he would
Um,
have been 18, or which one?
no, it's my second son. So he was, like, 15 at the time, I guess.
Okay, so pretty young
Yeah.
to be, like,
Yeah.
having this experience with your mom.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, so he's like, he first of all, he gathered all the kids kind of far away from me so
Mhm.
that they were, like,
So he was, like,
and
really using his head. That's pretty
he
amazing in that
was, yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. And my brother and sister were there, and so they were taking care of me, and he was kind of taking care of the kids. My brother even, like, had to lie down for a minute, like, next to me. So he was, because, like, I had a really terrible compound fracture of my wrist, and the bone was sticking out and all that stuff. So he was, like, feeling faint. So he's
That
like,
would be me. I would be
I
passed out. You would be there conscious, and I would be
know.
like on the ground with you, totally
Well, they
passed
kept
out.
asking me about my wrist, like, does your wrist hurt?" And I'm like, "What are you guys talking about?" I could not feel that
You were
wrist
so in
at all.
shock, and
Well,
everything else hurt so much
yeah,
worse.
that's what it was. It was just like the pain was so centered. So what happened, what we found out later is that I broke my pelvis in 3 places. And then my sacrum just snapped off and kind of shattered like a plate.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then I had 3 burst fractures in my 3 vertebrae, basically burst upon impact. Um, and my sternum and ribs, which I never even felt in the hospital because everything else was so intense.
Everything else hurts so
Like,
bad.
and by the time I was out of the hospital, my ribs were healed, whatever. So that's, like, minor, and then the wrist. So those are, and then also the hardest part at that point was that I couldn't breathe. I mean, obviously the wind was knocked out of me at the impact, but
Right.
I also just couldn't take a deep breath, and that's scary. That's a
Oh,
panicky
yeah. That's
feeling.
really scary.
And it turns out there was just, like, tons of fluid. I used to know the measurement, but I don't remember how much fluid they drained. But, like, the second day, they realized that there was tons of accumulation of fluid. And so they drained that, and then I could finally breathe deeply and stuff. So that was all that was going on physically. And then we just, the ambulance came really quick. They came up they parked the ambulance most of the way up the trail, and then they took an ATV to me, and that luckily I was in a place that was easy access.
Oh, what a
Um,
blessing.
I know. So they were able to put me on a bodyboard, cut off my harness, all the things. They tried to slip it off me. I'm like, cut it. Like, get that, like, do not move me. It hurts so bad. And I was like, it's nice of you to worry about that, but cut the dang thing off. And they get me on the backboard and put me on the back of an the ATV. Like they're just kind of holding me there,
That, I
getting
mean,
me to
I
the
can imagine that
ambulance.
ATV ride down was
It
probably
was
really
so bad.
painful.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
it
all
was
the
short
bouncing.
though. But then they couldn't give me any drugs because my blood pressure was so low, and so
Mm.
the ambulance ride itself was really painful as well. But honestly, yeah, the pain was awful, but I was also just feeling this like outpouring of love from the paramedics, from God, whom I was like still I had this like one-to-one connection like the whole time I was like having a conversation, and I just felt like pure love and care, and but going both ways, both for the people caring for me and for me to them. Like it was like a very amazing experience actually. And then the experience got really crazy when they did give me the drugs, and I could see like all these geometric things, and they were like
Like,
it was like
seriously hallucinating.
yeah, serious. Yeah,
Because
I
they
can.
would have to give you some really strong stuff with all of
Yeah.
those injections.
I don't even know what it
I'd
was, but
imagine
yeah.
they don't want your body to be more stressed out than it is, and they'd have to make you relax and everything else, right?
Yeah,
So,
and then I had 3 surgeries in 3 days. Yeah, first my pelvis, they put 2 big long screws through just crossways through my pelvis, and then they fused some vertebrae together, left some to heal. And then oh, actually, maybe the wrist must have been first. The wrist was first because it
because
was
the bone was
the
sticking
bone was
out.
sticking out. The wrist was first. So, yeah, then the pelvis, then the back. So, and my husband wasn't in town. He was in Colorado. So he gets this horrific
Which is also crazy
message.
because your husband's a surgeon, right? So
Yeah. And he was
he's
in
like,
surgery. So he didn't, yeah, like get it right away. And anyway, it was just crazy. And my sister sends him a picture. Oh, which is one thing I didn't mention, like the whole miracle of one of the biggest miracles of the whole thing is that obviously my head hit the ground, but I did not feel even a headache, or I didn't have any bumps or bruises or scrapes on my head. I had scrapes, all over everywhere else, along with all the fractures.
well,
But
I can't even imagine your bruising. Your bruising must have been crazy
yeah, yeah.
from that.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the back looked like, but I could tell what my arms and my wrists looked like and stuff like that. And then, but when we looked at the picture afterwards, you can see rocks everywhere, like around my head, but not right where I fell,
My
which was
goodness.
such a miracle. I feel like I was like almost guided down, um, just really protected. Like it's really a miracle that I'm here. Because if I would have hit one of those rocks with my head,
Oh, yeah, there's no coming back
yeah,
from that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So no brain injury, which was just so miraculous. And obviously my hips hit first, and then but my hips, and then must have been my back, but still, even with those absorbing some of the impact, my
Oh,
my
yeah.
head ended up on the ground. So
Yeah,
I
there's
just
no
count
way
that
that
as a
couldn't
miracle. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. So
Oh my goodness. So what is going through your head when you're being carted off to the hospital? I mean, are you cataloging your calendar? Are you like thinking about your kids? Are you just in so much pain? You're like, what's take me
yeah,
through
I
that
mean, I
moment.
was very much still in a very spiritual state, and I was thinking about all the reasons that I was needed to stay, basically, like I have so so much to give my kids, so much, like I just was thinking about people,
Mhm.
it just all became like I did have to take care of those few logistics, but I wasn't thinking about I was going to a concert that night, things like that, like like we had tons of plans that day, but all of that, like, and I was supposed to go to Europe the next week, for a senior trip with my oldest son. We were gonna, do this big hiking trip. And so I thought of those things and like took care of what needed, but it was just like overwhelming. Like Europe is still going to be there. What mattered, my priorities just became crystal clear. Like it was the people I loved that I wanted to be with, and I did not want to give that up yet. I wasn't ready.
Yeah. No.
And I even thought about like, I have so many more, like, I even thought about the podcast, which seems weird, but I was like, I have so much more I just want to help people more, like I want to help moms. There's so much I want to do here in this life. I want to help my family. I want to help moms. I want to just, I have so much to give,
Well, and that's part of your mission, I feel like,
Yeah.
is you have this podcast and to share all the things that you do, and all the people you interview have such a influence on others and take you out of that mix and that disappears. So I can see how you just felt like that wasn't fulfilled yet. You still had more that you wanted to work on with all that.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And so I just like, these are the things that matter. This is how I focus the rest of my life, and it's this feeling of intense love that I'm feeling right now. Like that is a gift that I can keep giving to other people. And it just became so clear, like what the point of it all is, like that's all that matters. And in fact, the Beatles song "Love Is All You Need" was going through my head like, I'm one of those people that always have a song in my head. So I have two main songs that we're going. This is the insider track. I don't know if I tell everybody this, but the two main songs were there's a beautiful song called "It Is Well With My Soul," and that
I
was one of the
love that
first
song.
things when I was so like that song wrecks me when I sing it or hear it or anything. But that's what I was thinking. I was like, because that was one of the first prayers that I said. It was like, I do not feel ready to go, but if it's my time, I have done my best. And like, that makes me emotional to think of. But I was just like, it's like, yeah. Anyway, that is how I felt at the beginning. And then once I knew I was going to be fine, and then I was in the ambulance, literally like, all you need is love was going through my head. And that is basically a life's motto for me now. Like, all you need is love. Like, just the answer's always love, and just nothing else matters. So
I love it. Okay, so let's talk about your recovery and how you got
yeah.
through it. Because with all of these things shattered and broken off and
Yeah.
all the sticking through flesh, I mean, I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
Like,
I was just
if I
broken.
was a doctor, I would be like, I don't even know where to start. Like, this is like, we're gonna have to piece this girl back together, and it's got to be just kind of crazy. So tell me what that was like and what it looked like in your day to day as you're recovering, because this isn't something where it's like one broken bone and in 6 weeks you're back on it.
Right.
This is a lot of moving pieces here.
Yeah. Or not moving pieces, actually.
Right. Nothing's moving. That's the
I was
problem.
very immobile. Yes. Yeah. So I was in the ICU for a week and a half, in which time I couldn't even brush my own teeth at first. I was having family members there around the clock, helping me with
So
things, sleeping
how is
over at the
time moving
hospital.
for you? Like, is time moving really slow? Is it moving fast? I feel like hospital
It's
time is weird time.
Yeah, and it's blurry too, especially that ICU time, because you're also drugged up,
You're so
So,
medicated.
yeah. Yeah, and I had like the button that I could push every 30
But
minutes
they never
to
put you, like, into a medically induced coma or anything
No.
like that.
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, obviously for the surgeries
Right,
specifically,
right,
but I
right,
was
right.
anesthetized, but yeah. So yeah, it was kind of blurry and weird. Very strange when you have to like have I couldn't roll over. Like I was basically more than an infant at that point. Like people had to do everything for me, and um including rolling me over,
Yes.
and like, yeah, just I couldn't move at all. And I yeah, the days and nights were all it was just crazy. But I also remember just like adoring my nurses. I had such wonderful nurses taking care of me. And like, I just wanted to know everything about them. And I was like, I had this new, like, I have so much love to give. Do you have any idea how much love is bursting
All I
from
need
me?
is
Like,
love. All I need is
yeah,
love.
I know. I know. So I was like, I don't know. Maybe I was like way over the top for them, but I was like, and I was like giving them like, I have so many flowers that people have given me. Could you, I want you to take this one home. And yeah, I don't know. I was like buying them books. And anyway, it was funny. I loved my nurses. Um, but yeah, like I had some really cool, very meaningful conversations with my family, and that was a very sacred time to just, you know, different ones would spend the night. My sisters, my parents, my in-laws. We were just trying to wrap our heads around what this meant, what my functionality was going to be, how long my recovery was going to be. So yeah, some really like sweet, special times. I had people visiting me from every stage of my life, like high school friends that happened to be in town. And I'm from California, but anyway, they happened to be in Utah, and people from college. A bunch of roommates came at once, and people I'd met through the podcast, and just people from all over. I also do a podcast for BYU for Y Magazine, the BYU alumni magazine, and people from the magazine came. And anyway, just an outpouring, and just so it was just really like when what I was craving was all the people I loved from this experience. They were there, and they were, if they couldn't be there, they were sending messages, and they were, so I just, instead of that being a traumatic time in my memory, it's a very sacred, beautiful time, just surrounded by love. So I was there for a week and a half or so, and then I just kept moving up floors in the hospital. So then I moved to, I don't know, whatever was the next level. I used to, critical care.
Oh,
I
I know.
think, is next.
It's been a while
And
now.
then,
Thank
yeah,
goodness.
yeah, I know. I'm glad I've forgotten
things.
some of those inconsequential details. And then eventually I got up to a recovery floor where they started the physical therapy, and that's when the work began. And like, oh, that first time that I had to sit up by myself for like 2 seconds, and it was so excruciating, and I couldn't imagine that I would ever actually be able to sit up again, like it was crazy. And then, getting my skills back, like being able to, I had my one good arm that I could use to like reach over, grab the bar, and then slowly roll myself to the side, and then roll myself to the other side. It was like just learning these like basic movements, and trying to, lift my legs. My legs nothing was broken on my legs, but they were attached to a very broken hip. So like, I was doing ankle rotation, just started with the little things, and that was hard work. Just every little thing was like, oh, and the first time I went outside, that was amazing, in a wheelchair, and yeah, just all these baby steps, but without the steps part. I guess.
Without the actual stepping.
Without the actual steps. It's actually funny I didn't realize how many like plays on words there are about like hitting the ground running. I'm like, but that hits on two like the hitting the ground part, and the running does not apply. But anyway, like all these little like idioms that we use, a lot of them had to do directly with like walking or running or, anyway, it was so, but we just kept it light. And we, the whole time I was like so eager to tell my story and show my picture to like the new specialists that would come in. I'm like, look, it's a miracle I'm alive. So I wasn't feeling like, oh, my life's so hard, how could I do that? Because I was just so overcome by the miracle that had just happened, like that I was there, I was alive. I didn't even mention my kids were still in town, so they were visiting. They stayed in town for 3 weeks. We were going to go home the next day, but they stayed in town. There was 3 weeks before school started, so they stayed in town. My sisters took them all over the place and gave them a good time, and let them have lots of cousin time, and they stayed at my parents', and so they were well taken care of. But they would come to visit every day. So I loved that time with them. We had a really, really special family. Like meeting where we all talked about our feelings of what, how they were dealing with, because I was very worried about how they were dealing with
Oh,
it
I'm
too.
sure. Yeah, that's a big deal to all of a sudden have your mom so hurt and
Yeah.
so just not in your daily life that much. I mean, whew,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a lot.
It was crazy. So yeah, we had a really good conversation about that, and like about plans for when they went home and started school and stuff. And so luckily I have incredible family support. And so we quickly hatched a plan that my in-laws would go. They live only 20 minutes away.
Okay, so they're in Colorado
In
then, right?
Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah. So they just held down the fort while my husband continued to work. He was able to catch a flight. I guess I didn't say that part. He was able to catch a flight the next day. So he came right as I was about to go in for my back surgery. I don't know, for one of my surgeries. Um, and so he was able to be there for a little while, and then he went back. The kids came back. Um, yeah, 3 weeks later. Anyway, but my in-laws just kept things running. They did all the meals. They took them to and from school. They just really stepped in, and so eventually I was able to go to a rehab floor, the top floor. I made my
Yay!
way up, and and then I was able to be released to my parents' home in Utah. So I stayed there for 2 more months. Yeah, because it was mid-October when I came home. It's all
That's a
kind of
long
kind
time
of a
to be
blur.
away from
Yeah.
home. That's a really
Yeah,
long
and a
time.
long time for my in-laws to be holding down the fort.
Yeah,
They'd just
and your
stay until
kids
my
to be
husband
there
got home from
too.
work, and yeah,
Yeah.
that was a lot. So I am, yeah, so grateful for them, and it was amazing. And so then while I'm at my parents' house, I just am, trying to figure out how to I got to the point where I could get myself into my wheelchair, just like all those baby steps. Like, I had all these board, like moving board, sliding boards, and like bolsters, because I still couldn't use my hand. That was part of the problem. Like, it was hard to maneuver myself around when I still couldn't
With
use my
just one
arm.
hand, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I could use my elbow. So we had little bolsters so I could use my elbow, and just all these things. Like, my parents gave me their master bedroom, and I stayed there, and they moved upstairs, and I could get around in a wheelchair. Meanwhile, like, podcasting was actually kind of my lifeline, because I could still kind of do some stuff. And so I even did one interview in the hospital, from a hospital bed.
Oh my goodness.
Which is good. It was
Wow.
somebody I had been trying to track down, and I had this appointment. I was like, I'm never going to get this interview again if I don't do it now. So we just did. I'm like, I'm actually in a hospital bed, but we can still do this.
Now
It
that
was
would have been a
crazy.
very interesting video podcast.
Yeah, yes, it was not a video. I do have the video of it, so, which
Oh,
is funny. I
wow.
should go back and look at that, but maybe not. I don't know.
That is
Anyway,
something for family history for
yeah, right,
podcasting, right?
right. But I do remember feeling so grateful for it. Like, when I opened that computer, I was like, this is something I can actually do, because there's so little that I could do.
And
Like,
something normal, right? I mean,
yes, it felt so
yeah.
good. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that was the thing. There was just nothing was my life, And so the other normal thing that I tried to do is, because I was like, I'd obviously talk to my kids every day, and catch up with them, several times a day or whatever. But I wanted some way to spend time with them. So I with my younger two, I just had picked some books from my mom's shelf and read out loud to them on the phone every night before bed. And it was one thing I could do. So we'd
Yeah.
FaceTime. I couldn't even hold the phone. I was well, I guess I could with my good hand, but it hurt my back to hold the phone, So I had this little contraption to hold my phone in front of me, and we'd FaceTime, and I'd read the book, and it was just something that we could do together. So
And some way
besides
that
just
you felt
talking.
like you could nurture your kids even though you
Right.
really couldn't do anything else. Because that's
Yeah.
such our base instinct, right? Is that
Yeah.
we to be able to nurture and love our kids, and how do you do that when you can't even move? I mean, that's
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy. So my husband did come for a long weekend once, but like he was working hard. We had hospital bills and like he couldn't just like
Right.
take off work and he had surgery scheduled and whatever. So we would of course talk and then he came for one weekend, but mostly it was just me and my parents. Interesting though to like live with your parents again and have them take care of you.
Yes,
Like
tell me
it,
about that,
it
like, how was
yeah. It was
because
actually really
that's
beautiful. I have the best
that
parents
could be
and
really hard in some ways,
yeah,
you know?
it was, and like sometimes like you revert back to like your teenage self. My mom's like, "Have you eaten yet?" Da, 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 da. I'm like, "I could take care of myself, mom, but I really couldn't." So, um, but
I
so
love
like
to hear that you did have a little spiciness in you.
yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
just being sweet all the
No,
time.
it wasn't. No, and it was hard. I don't want it to make it sound like I just had this good attitude all the time. There were some hard days where I'm just like, I just need to not hurt for a minute,
Yeah,
like I just need,
yeah.
yeah, it was frustrating. Yeah. But
Well, and trying to go through all those physical therapies,
yeah,
if anybody's
yeah.
ever been like, I've been through some physical therapy, but not
Oh, yeah. They're
nearly to that
brutal.
level. It's
Yeah.
brutal, and you're
Yeah.
sore after, and it's a lot of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. And yeah. And yeah, eventually I did. Yeah, I was having physical therapy sessions there for my wrist. It was like I called it my Barbie hand because I couldn't move it at all. It was just like stuck there. Um, but I've got a lot more movement now. Not full movement, but a lot of movement. So anyway, so yeah, just lots of very minute baby steps and my parents taking me on walks in a stroller, basically, like old times. um, but it was also very sweet. Like they have a really great relationship, and it was just fun to see them interact on a daily basis and see what love and care they had for me. My dad built this gigantic ramp um, for the front of their house, and like spent way too much money and he wouldn't let me pay him back. But like
Just to be able to let you get in
giant
and out.
ramp, yeah, to get me in and out. And in fact, he's like such a good guy that he donated that ramp to a family, two different families after I was gone and built it so that they could have wheelchair access to their homes. So it was really cool.
That's amazing. That is so amazing. Okay, so let's see, like, what were some of the most meaningful acts of service that like your kids offered to you? Because I'm sure you had to rely on, even when you finally got back home,
Yes, yes.
it wasn't like you were like good to go. You were still
Yeah.
pretty hurt when you got home.
I
Like
was still in a
what were you?
wheelchair, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, my cousin helped me at the airport to get back, and and then I got home and I could by then put weight on my left leg. So that was my status. And I was
One
like
leg. Yes.
so amazed. Like it's amazing how much one leg can do. Like
So you could
just
move, is it your right hand that you could move and
I
your
could move
left
my
leg?
right hand and my left leg.
Okay,
So
so
yeah.
you have like
So
a little bit
yeah.
of each leg. Okay.
Yeah. So that which is amazing because then I could stand up and I
Yeah.
was like flamingo style, I could stand up and then like use that to pivot. I couldn't get around, but I could pivot and like go take myself to the bathroom again and like
Yeah.
amazing things like that. Um uh even take a shower by myself, which I mean it's crazy all the things you have to depend on other people for. But so yeah, I get home and I'm still in my wheelchair. I can't get my bedroom's upstairs. So my kids and my husband are like basically carrying me upstairs every night. So I like live on the main floor during the day and then they carry me up in the night and one kid carries the wheelchair and one kid helps my husband get me up there with my one leg. So I'm like,
It's a good thing you're so
yeah.
tiny, Whitney.
It is. It really is. And it's a good thing that my kids were the ages they were because
Oh, yeah, can you imagine if they were toddlers? What would
yeah,
you
the
do?
youngest was
I
8
can't.
and yeah,
Yeah.
like that would have been I would have had had to have constant live-in help, but anyway, so, and I was able to like devise this way that I could drive, like I could get myself out because I had like an office chair, an office rolling chair in the garage, so I could like I would like get to the edge of the stairs in my wheelchair, like bounce my like go on my bottom down the like three stairs to my garage, and then I'd hoist myself into my little rolling chair, get to the car door, hoist myself into the car door. Anyway, it was this really funny charade that I'd have to do to drive him to, but it felt so good, like to do a normal activity like that,
So
that I
you
didn't
could
want
drive your
help.
kids to school. It
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
you're probably
And I
so
like,
excited. No one's
I
been so excited to carpool in their lives.
Yeah, no, I cried on the first time, like when I was leaving the parking lot. I'm like, I just drove my kids to school. Like it was amazing. But yeah, so back to the question. Yeah, my kids were like doing everything for me, and cooking, and they were doing, yeah, they had to do a lot by themselves, and but it was awesome to be there, to still be able to like help with homework, or just be there and talk with them, and when they're sad, and anyway,
Yeah.
there was but they really had to step up, and they did, so it's great.
That's so awesome. Okay, what about your friends when you were back home? I mean, maybe when you were gone too, but
Yeah,
back home, I'm
both.
sure you
Yeah.
had to rely on people a lot. I mean, because you're kind of back to being on your own a little bit more.
Well, and people were kind of like, while I was gone, and my in-laws are so capable, and they were just taking care of everything here, people were just dying to help. Like people wanted to help so much. Like, what can we do? Like, we know this awful situation. And I've been there before. I'm sure you've been
Oh,
there, where you're
totally,
like,
totally.
just want to
Yeah.
help, but I don't know how. And so I got amazing like packages while I was at my parents' house and in the hospital, just like very thoughtful, like book people sent me lots of books to occupy my time, and just all sorts of lovely, lovely gifts. I can't start naming them, or it'll take too long. And just you know, um, some they sent pictures of the girls that I worked with at church. They all sent pictures in the center of flowers, like in a little flower arrangement with their faces, and just really sweet things like that. One of the coolest experiences in the hospital is just one woman that I knew a little bit, and I'd interviewed her for the podcast. She had moved from Colorado to Utah, and she just came in as soon as she could. The most thoughtful basket of just like food that was not hospital food, and treats, and but then she offered to give me a manicure and a pedicure, and it was at a particularly low moment where I was feeling greasy and yucky, and I hadn't had my hair washed yet, and I hadn't had a shower yet, and anyway, it was, or no, I think it was the day of my first shower is what it was. She came like right out. It was just the timing of it, because I had just had my first shower, and then she came and like painted my nails, and I just felt like so clean and fresh. That's what it was. And she massaged my feet and my hands while she was doing it. And it was just the time and the care and the thought she put into it was just so sweet. And then I have another friend who um is this amazing cook, and she brought my family so many meals while I was gone, and then when I came back, and then she would just, I mean, she came and would talk to me. She would also give me massages, just massage my arms and legs while we were talking, and just such beautiful gifts of time and care. Um, yeah. Yeah, I could go on and on about that. But really, if you're looking for ways to help people, it really doesn't matter what the gift is or what the thing is, but just the time and the love, it just comes through. And that's what overwhelmingly I think of when I think of that time, is just my village became very clear and very abundant, and it was really like mind blowing. I'm getting chills thinking about it.
Love it. Okay, so what are you doing? How are you doing now? Like, how's your function? I mean, we're 2 years out.
Yeah.
What's life looking like now?
Yeah, so I've had a couple other surgeries in the meantime, and so that always takes some recovery, but, currently, I'm pretty functional, like, I can do most everything. I can even kind of ride a bike. I don't last very long, but that's my new goal is that, like, next year, I really wanna do this, like, um, organized bike ride with my fam next September. I'm doing Tour of the Moon. That's the goal in Grand Junction, Colorado. That's the goal. So that's the new thing I'm working toward. But I can go on reasonably long walks and hikes, like even up to 5 miles I've done. So that's
Which is a
amazing.
big deal because you're a very
Yes,
outdoorsy
I
person.
know.
So
It was
that
hard to
must
give
have
that up.
been very hard when
It
I
was so
imagine those
hard.
are activities that you would do to help your not only your physical health, but your mental health and
Totally.
possibly even some social activities for you. So to have all that stripped away,
Yeah.
was
And
that like a big part of this being a difficult situation for you?
and
I
it's
would
an identity thing too, because
yes.
like that was a lot of who I was, and even, like, playing the piano I couldn't do for a while, and that gradually came back too, and but 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 it was like, when all the things you do are taken away, it really strips you down to the bare
Who am I?
identity. Yeah, who am I and what do I do? And it was hard for me even to, like, meet new people who didn't know me before the accident, and I was like, "No, no, I promise I'm, like, this really active, really, dynamic person, I promise, but I didn't I like, the energy piece was really hard, like, for a really long time because I could do bare minimum, and I actually had kind of a breakthrough in the last couple weeks energy-wise, like, I'm starting to feel more like
Wow, in
myself
the last couple
energy-wise.
weeks, it's
Yes, yeah,
amazing.
like, literally. Like, I just noticed this weekend, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I, like, kind of feel like myself again," like,
Mhm.
energy-wise. Um, but yeah, so I'm just, yeah, gradually adding those physical things back in. I still can't like, for example, like, doing the dishes knocks me out. Like, I can do the dishes, get my kitchen clean, and then I have to lie down for a while. Making dinner, I can do it, and then I have to lie down. I'm like, I was telling my kids, I can't do both. I can't make dinner and clean up after dinner. They have to do one or the
You
other.
just really have to pace yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
I
see
just
that.
rest and I put heat on my back and stuff like that. So it's a very different way of living than I was like, "Go, go, go, go. I can do anything. I'm your person to take care of everything." So that part of my identity, like being the go-to person and being like in it. Like, there's a FOMO piece, there's an identity piece, there's a, like, or like going on vacations and having to be like, okay, guys, have a nice bike ride. I'll sit here. And that's why I took up crocheting. I always have it right with me.
I love that you even have it right here on the
Yeah,
podcast.
I have it with me at all times. So I just had to kind of find new
Some
hobbies
new
and
quiet
find other
hobbies.
ways to, yeah. Yeah. And luckily I could podcast, like, a lot of the podcasting I've been doing has been from this couch behind me. Like, I sit up and do an interview and then I like edit it lying down or whatever. But we also like finished our deck and I can work a lot outside. So I can get outside and like, but yeah, I'm at the point where I'm trying to go on a walk every day and just bring back the what I can, and I I I'm still improving, which is very good for morale. Like,
Yes.
I I just can't even tell you how I feel for the people who have like a degenerative
Mhm.
condition or something like that where they're not like that has been really good for just my mental health is that I'm always seeing improvement, and so that's a great way to stay optimistic, and a great blessing. Um but yeah, like I feel like I start each day at about a 2 on the pain scale and end each day at about a 7, which is considerable. My pain scale is also broadened a lot because I
I'm
felt much
sure
more
your
pain than
7 is probably like
yeah.
mine would be.
Yes, like my the top of my scale used to be childbirth, and childbirth is quite a bit down there now. But but yeah, like by the end of the day, I'm crawling into bed, but that's because I've like given a lot in the day,
Yeah,
like
you're
what
trying
I
to stretch
can do
yourself.
is
Yeah.
increasing. I usually end up at the same point at the end of each day, but I'm filling that day with more in the meantime.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, but I actually consider that a superpower too, because like what an actual blessing to have a major tolerance for pain. Like I just get her done with pain, and I've learned like little things like they're they're trying to put an IV in for a surgery or draw my blood, and they're like, "Oh, sorry." I'm like, that is not a concern of mine. Like
This is so nothing compared to.
pain is something I can handle at like very high doses now. And I'm like, it's actually pretty pretty big superpower because I can handle stuff.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Anyway.
So, are there any like lessons that you learned or takeaways that you want to share from this whole experience?
Well, I just would hope that people can like the priority thing is I think the biggest thing is just that so much does not matter. Like there's so many things in our lives that do not matter. It was okay that I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do anything at first, but like I had to learn to say no to so many things, and
And that
everything
is
was fine.
really hard
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah, yeah.
especially
But
when
when
you're
you
such
have
a
no
happy person.
choice, you realize that once you do have a choice again, you still those things aren't as crucial as you think, and really you can really customize the way that you want to live, and you can prioritize what is really important. And it's rarely like your kid's messy room. It's more like being there when your kids' friends are mean to them, or like it's the spiritual connections, it's the emotional connections that matter, not your kids' grades or your kid, like I don't know if I'm articulating this well,
No,
but it was
I
just
think what
came
you're
very
trying to say
clear.
is it's like you're picking your battles differently than the way that
Yes.
you did before.
Yeah.
And you know that if you spend time doing XYZ, you maybe won't have the energy to read your kids at the end of the
Yeah.
night. Or,
Exactly.
you just have to be really thoughtful about the energy you're expending and what things you're choosing because you can't do all of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm.
Absolutely. You said it so much better. That was great. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And yeah, you can simplify so much. And we all learned that during COVID too. And, you know, but
I think that's
it's
something
good
I'm
to be
always
reminded.
learning, right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
can I let go of? What can I say no to? What do I really need to say yes to?
Yeah.
What things are the most important. And it's hard to protect your time like
Yeah.
that.
It
It's
really
it's
is.
hard when you want to do a lot of things and when you can only choose a few things.
Yeah.
And then you have like the guilt. Oh, I should do that. And getting rid of that and just saying, okay, but no, this is
Yeah.
what I
Did
should
I
be.
love my
This is
people
what
well
I need to be
today?
doing.
Then great. It was a
Yeah.
success. And yeah, just changing the barometer of a success from productivity to connection.
Yeah. That's huge. That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Whitney, so much in this. Wow. So many lessons we can learn just from hearing all of your experiences. So,
Yeah, learn it from listening to me, not from
yes, let me
jumping off
please
a
not
cliff.
experience that.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, don't do
man,
that. Don't do it.
let me never fall off a 30-foot cliff and
Yeah.
have to. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and
Wow.
luckily most of you will not. Probably none of you will who are
But
listening.
we will all have our own cliffs of our own,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. And that is another thing. I it was funny in the hospital. People would be like, "I know this doesn't compare at all to what you've been through, but I broke my leg this one time," and they would be like, and then they'd be like apologizing like, "Oh, I'm so sorry I compared my pain to yours. Like, how could I?" I'm like, the comparison doesn't even matter. I was like, I care. Like, I care about your broken leg. I care about whatever you're going through. Like, we don't have to to compare one thing to another. Like that is how we relate to each other. And that's why people would bring things like that up, because they're like, oh my gosh, I can only imagine, because when I did this, it was so painful, and you're having this compounded by 100 or whatever. My point is that, like, everybody's heart is hard. We will all have hard things, and we don't need to, like, compare. One of my friends was like, oh, I could not sleep. I'm sitting there in a wheelchair, and he's like, I just couldn't sleep last night. And he's like, here I am complaining about not sleeping, and here you are. Like, you felt like such an idiot. And I'm like, no, like, we need to help each other through our hurt, whatever that hurt is. Like, your paper cut still matters, but when it's the big things, like this, or like a divorce, or like just awful things, everybody's going to have hard things. It's just, these are the things that we can use to become stronger and better and more loving.
I'm going to say, this is how we can connect on a bigger, I'm sure all
Yeah.
the service you received and, the service that you want to give paying forward and other times, that's what bonds us. I think for
Yeah,
me, like,
it does.
when I've let people help me, bringing me meals when I've been morning sick or having a baby, or, like, there was a time when my husband was either out of work or underemployed, and people just all of a sudden dropping by some groceries or something,
Yeah.
I have such a great love for those people. It was like 15 years ago, but I still remember, in that moment, it was such a beautiful, welcome thing. Just that, so it's amazing how letting people in can build these big relationships. I bet you have like
Yeah,
the greatest, the greatest connections with these
I
people
do.
in your life now
It
because
really is incredible. Yeah.
I love that. And I love how you talked about, as you maybe other people's hurts don't look as big. I have people say things like that to me all the time. Oh, but you have 7 kids. I just have 2. So blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
any amount of kids is hard. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
One or you have 20. It's
Somebody
always going
said
to be
that whatever your number is, it's one more than you can handle.
yes, or 10 more sometimes,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I love that you talk about not comparing our hard things to each other, because we all have things, and some people's are more private and some are more public. Yours was obviously very public, but I'm sure there were private parts of it even that you don't talk about that were hard too. But
Right. Right. Yeah.
anyway, thank you for so much for sharing this. I
Yeah.
mean, what a remarkable thing that you are still coming through. You're still not at the end of this. You're still
Yeah.
just fighting,
Yeah.
and
It's a long road.
yeah, yeah. But I appreciate you sharing it so much. Well, let's talk just a little bit about the Family Lab podcast
Yeah.
and what you're doing there right now and what's been happening over there.
Yes, I'm trying to work through, like, all the different aspects of both home management and parenting, writing some workbooks on the side that will be forthcoming. But really, my main goal is to help families, like, set up systems and just obviously try different experiments. Basically, the two kinds of episodes we have are like where I just bring in an expert or another mom or another dad. We just pick a topic, and we come up with we talk about what we've tried at our house and what's worked and what hasn't, and then we give listeners experiments that they can try at home. And then I do top 5 episodes, which Hillary was on recently doing one
Yay!
about rollover meals, and it was so good. So those are just kind of fun ones where there's also some educational component, but we're just like picking our favorites. So we've done like family movies, we've done meals, we've done I can't even think of the other ones on the top of my head, but anyway, that's kind of fun. Yeah, I have another podcast with BYU that comes out once a month, and that's fun too. I get to talk to lots of alumni and professors and interesting, fascinating people. So those are the things that I'm doing.
Love it. I love it. Oh, that is so great. Okay, anything else you want to share before we move on to our helpful and happy questions?
We've covered a lot of ground today.
I know. Like, wow, this is a great one. Okay, well, I love to talk about these 3 helpful and happy questions because helping of happiness, our whole goal here is to just make moms have a happier life, right? And one way that we really focus on that is helping out with fun family meals or fun family foods, taking our families on vacations, spending that quality time together, and then just having like little things that like a good home hack that will just make life a little bit happier and simpler. So, my first question for you is, what is your favorite food or meal?
Um, okay, so I mean, the first one I thought about was just chips and salsa because I love chips and salsa. But if we're talking like a family meal, um, I just made it. I don't make it like well, I make it in the fall and winter because it's like more of a fall and winter crock pot type thing. But it's and I don't know how to pronounce it, so I hate to even mention it because I don't know how to say it because it's French and I cannot pronounce French to save my life. But I think it's choucroute, Choucroute. Do you speak French? I don't know.
No,
Anyway,
I wish I did.
I am not cultured enough to know how to pronounce that, but I love to
Oui,
make it.
bonjour. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically like a bunch of different renditions of pork. Like there's kielbasa and then like pork roast and ham, and you kind of cut those up and put those in the crock pot, and then you put a whole like I don't know. I just use like maybe a pound probably of sauerkraut. Just put the sauerkraut in there,
Okay.
and you put like an onion, and you like poke cloves in it, and then you stick that in there to like for some aromatics in there. A bunch of garlic, whole cloves of garlic, and cut up Granny Smith apple and potatoes, and you just throw those
This
all
is
in
like
there.
blowing my mind, all of these ingredients
I
that I want
know it
to
sounds
put
crazy,
together.
and even this time I leveled up and really followed the recipe, and I bought juniper berries and added those in because you're supposed to. I've been supposed to be doing that
Okay.
all along, but I did never do that until this time. And it was so good. Anyway, you put all that in and then it just cooks and it's easy. And it's so delicious. So
Amazing.
that's
So do
that's
you
how.
serve it like as a soup or do you serve it as like what is your
Um
consistency of this?
it's kind of it oh yeah, and you put like some chicken broth in there. Uh
Uh-huh.
and then yeah, it's kind of soupy, but it's like you don't really eat the broth. You just kind of eat the things out of the broth.
Okay, so it's like you scoop it out of
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
portion.
you scoop it. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Yeah. But
very fun.
it's really tasty, and I don't know. I don't know that it's my favorite, but it's one that we just had that it's always a good hit. And the garlic is the weird thing because it's like stews in there so much that it loses a lot of its pungency, and it's just like this buttery soft. It's like a
Mm,
roasted garlic kind of
mhm.
thing, but it
Oh
has all
yeah.
those flavors. It's really good. And I just like I don't know, I use a different recipe every time. They're all pretty much the same. I just look it up online. I mean, now I just make it from memory, but yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. That is a
Yeah,
totally
it's
different one. I've
tasty.
never even heard of that. We're gonna have to try it.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's called I'd have to say the name again. I don't know, choucroute, however you say it. Garni
Okay.
is like
Awesome.
sometimes that's what the recipe calls it, but yeah,
Love
I
it.
think the garni is obviously the herbs and the
Okay.
juniper
Ooh,
berries and the
the
cloves,
juniper
and
berries.
I know I
Love
felt
it.
so fancy when I threw those in there.
We have so much juniper around here. I could probably just go and
Yeah,
pick more
pick the
of those.
juniper
Yeah.
berries. Even better, a
Go a little
forager.
scavenger hunt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about travel. Do you have a favorite trip or a dream trip? I imagine you still didn't do your Europe trip that you'd planned.
No, so my husband and son ended up they had to use the points by that next January from our canceled trip, or not, whatever, the credits. And so they went on a biking trip to Mallorca. Um,
Oh, wow.
so I had to miss that first senior trip, but then now we've had the opportunity to have another son entering his senior year. So we do it before they turn to a senior because that year after is nuts, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just went to Norway and it was amazing. I can't even
Oh
believe that we
my
went there.
goodness.
It was a dream. It was a magical place.
I
So
love that you had the energy to make it. That's so awesome.
yes,
Did
yes,
you
it
have to take a
was.
lot of breaks or were you pretty good?
I was able to do quite a bit of hiking. I did have to take it easy. Like we definitely didn't do it the way we would have done it before the accident. But even on my birthday, this is so magical. It was my birthday, and we were up in the Lofoten. I'll probably pronounce this bad too. Lofoten Islands in the north in the Arctic Circle, and they're just like if you could invent a world this is like the biggest imaginary world you could invent, because there's like everywhere you look there's like 12 waterfalls, and they're emptying
Oh my
into directly into the
goodness.
ocean from these sheer cliffs, and you're going from island to island on this big long road, and there's these bright red fishing cottages and fish hanging out to dry. Anyway,
Oh my goodness. I
it was
need to
so
put this on my
magical.
bucket list. It
It
sounds
was
so
so
amazing.
magical. But on my birthday, we hiked to this like secret beach, not secret beach, but you had to like hike into it, kind of a secret beach. It felt like a secret beach. Okay, we're gonna
It
call
was
it
a
a secret
secret
beach.
beach. Okay, we went on this
We
secret
hiked to
hike.
a secret beach
No
that
one
only
knew
we have
about
ever been
that.
to. No, um, but it looked like you're like walking through like you're gonna see some trolls and fairies,
Oh
and
my
like
gosh.
this
Like you're in
magical
a fairy
fairyland.
tale.
And then we get to this this beach, and it's midnight, and it's bright as it's daylight,
Because it's
because
summertime,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, and the sun never sets. Like when we looked at our app, it said, uh, to show the weather app, to show when the sun sets, it said in more than 7 days is the sunset. so it was a really cool experience to just hike into a beach and just be there on my birthday. Anyway,
That's
yeah, it was a
awesome.
magical trip. Everything about it. We went through fjord country. We stayed in Bergen for a while, but the Lofoten Islands were a major highlight.
That's so amazing.
And we
Oh,
stayed in one of those fishing huts, and
oh,
it
I
was
love when
so
you could
cool.
stay in a place like that.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah.
When we went to Paris, we spent one night in Beauvais, which is just outside of Paris, because we actually, it was like a kind of a mistake because it
Oh,
was listed as a Paris airport, but it was really an hour away. And so anyway, we had to get there because we were flying to Italy from there. So, but this is just like old town. And we got to stay in this Airbnb. It was built in like the 15th century. Like it was
whoa, that's
so
so cool.
old. And I mean, I wasn't like luxurious, but it was cool. Like my kids had to like climb up to the loft to sleep and do all these different things. It was just
That's
really,
awesome.
I don't know, you just look out the window and it looks like you're set back in time, really cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
no,
I just love
I
those
can't believe that
experiences,
somewhere that beautiful exists on this earth. Like,
right?
it was so amazing.
Oh, I've got to go there. That's so
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Okay, so really quick, like totally sidetracking here, but so how do you do your senior trips? Do you just take that one kid and go on this trip, or do you take more than one kid? How do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, we've only done it twice, and the first one was a little bit of a
Right,
uh,
that was definitely
yeah. Yeah.
not
But
the
yeah, that's the
plan.
plan, is that like the year before they go into their senior year, we take them somewhere. Now, we do not let the so we those are our trips too. Like, we don't travel a lot, and it's hard for my husband to get away from his practice and all that stuff. So these are our main vacations.
Okay.
And so we are not leaving it up to chance of our teenagers who have not seen much of the world to choose these places. So we make our
We are
bucket
choosing
list.
where we're going.
Yeah, we make our bucket list, and then they can choose from a short
Cool.
list. So that's how we do it. And it's the we've done it in the summer. Like, I guess we could do a fall break or spring break too, but well, I guess we did. No, we've done one winter break, and they left the day after Christmas for their Mallorca trip, and then we did one summer. So it doesn't matter when it is. It's
Just
just that
sometime.
year of their senior year or before the senior year. That's our plan, because, yeah, after that they're going off to college or missions or
Just
whatever.
busy.
They're just moving to the next stage of life, and it's really has been, well, the one that I went on was really good to connect and just like have that time with him kind of in a more adult role,
Mhm.
and like really still tailoring the trip to his interests, and just all the time to talk and hike and chat, and it was really
It's
a
such a
special
unique
time.
experience. I love that, and one you don't forget.
Yeah, for sure. Do you do
So,
senior
yeah,
trips?
we do senior trips too. I love a good senior trip. So we do it a little different. So for my daughter, who's the oldest, her senior year, my father-in-law passed away. And there were
Oh,
just a lot of things that were going on in the family at that time, and it just wasn't a good time. And then COVID hit right after her
yeah.
senior year. And so
Oh,
like our plans were just a little bit thrown off. We did like a family trip where we went to San Francisco because that's one place she wanted to go. And anyway, so that was kind of fun, but it wasn't what I wanted it to be. So
Yeah.
when she got home from her mission, my son was a senior. And so she got home in February. And so the very beginning of March, just a few weeks after she got back, we took both of them and we did a
Oh,
Europe
that's
trip.
good. That's
She'd always
awesome.
wanted to do Europe study abroad. And I thought, well, this is a chance for her to see if this is something she wants to do, or maybe this will like check that box for her. And it really, what determined the trip was the deals that we could find. That we had
Oh,
found these
great.
great
Yeah.
$300 round trip tickets to Paris. And it was like,
Sweet.
we're going to Paris. And then we just kind of puddle jumped to different countries too when we were there. But so that was really amazing. And we got to do that with both of our kids because we've got 7 kids. So,
Yeah.
like, wow, this is going to be a lot of trips to keep
Yeah.
going. Anyway.
Yeah.
And so then when my third kid was a senior, we did it like in February because our companion passes were expiring at the end of that
Oh,
month.
yeah.
And so we had to use
Gotta
our
do it.
companion passes and there were all these deals to Costa Rica. And so we
Nice.
took him and his younger brother, who was a freshman or a sophomore at that time. I
I
can't
love
remember.
them. Like
He
like
was in
buddy
high
senior
school.
trips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he had a buddy. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was great, and that was a totally different kind of trip. Doing all those adventure hikes and different things in Costa Rica was way different than seeing different museums and culture-y things in Europe,
Yeah.
so that was really cool. So now we're looking forward to, I mean, not yet.
To
I don't
going to
want my daughter to
Norway.
grow up too much. She's a
Go to
freshman.
Norway for your next one.
I know, I'm like,
I know.
she was super into Frozen as a kid. Maybe we need to go to Norway, right? So
Yeah.
anyway,
It's
it
pretty
will be really
magical.
fun to see what we come up with for her. So, but we love travel. I love to find any deals that we can to go cool places, even if it's my husband and I doing different
Well, we
things.
did stop over in Iceland on the way too, and that is a
Oh,
crazy, crazy place. We were just there for 24 hours and we used every bit of that, even on no, we got there at 6 a.m. and we just kept on
I
kept on
love it.
pushing through. And that is a larger than life place. Like the waterfalls there are like gigantic. They're like, yeah, it's like you've gone to Giantland and
Oh my gosh,
it's
that is
crazy.
so on my bucket
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I need like endless amounts of time and money, and I want to
I
go
know.
everywhere.
I know.
Okay, all right. Last question. I could talk about food or
I
travel
know.
all day
Sorry.
long. Okay, no, it's me. It's
Mm.
me. Okay, our last one is, do you have a home hack for us? I mean, you're the queen of creativity. I mean, hearing all these different ways that you like rig different gadgets to figure things out during your
Yeah.
recovery and everything else. But what is a good home hack that you have for us?
I was thinking about this and I thought just to play on the theme of connection, I'll just do one that fosters connection rather than just like efficiency or,
Yeah, I love that.
clever hacks. And that is just inspired by my actually freshman in college year where we had a quote wall up on our wall of
Good.
funny things that people said. And so just last year, maybe 2 years ago, shortly after the accident, I think, I ordered these like I should have brought one down, but they're these little quote bubbles that you can write on with a dry erase marker. I just ordered them from Amazon, but I just designated one wall in our upstairs as our quote wall, and we just put some of the funny things that our kids have said from when they were children or that they say now, and we just put it up there, and it's just like I guess a cultural hack because it's just like, remember we love each other and think we're funny,
Oh, I
that kind
love
of
when you have
thing,
like these inside jokes.
Yes,
Yes.
inside jokes and yeah, just funny little quirks that really capture somebody's the quote from me that's up there is I can't, I have chicken hands because that's what I always say when like I'm cooking and the kids want me to do something or like
Yes.
do a
Yes.
password on the a device or something like I can't, I have chicken hands. And so they always anyway, that's my weird, just as a silly example.
I
So it
love
doesn't
it.
have to be like a groundbreaking or funny quip. It can just be like something that you always say. And it's kind of fun to like even the process of figuring out what to put up there. Or the kids will be, oh, remember this one thing, or and
Good.
or this is what dad always says or what
And
mom
that's
always
gotta be really
says.
fun to hear what the kids say about you, like what you say that you probably don't even like the chicken hands.
Right.
You probably wasn't something that came from you to say that.
Exactly. I guess a hack that kind of goes along with that, because a lot of them are like kind of teasing and stuff like that. But um, I guess the other hack, the other connection hack is to really like embrace those times when the kids are like even making fun of you a little bit, because it means that they're noticing things about you. Like,
I know they tease you the most when they love you the most, right? That's what
exactly.
I
It's
tell
so
myself.
true. Yeah. Yeah. Like, we didn't even realize it, but the kids the other night were just doing impressions of me and my husband going up and down stairs. Because they're like, this is how dad does it, and this is how I snap apparently when I'm going downstairs. I snap. I don't know why I do that, but and my husband whistles when he goes upstairs. Like I'm like, I didn't even notice that about myself. Now I notice that I snap. But
That is
I just
funny.
love little things like that. So yeah, just like embracing and capitalizing on those quirky cultural things. Sometimes we forget to do that when we're just in the
Mhm.
logistics of life. So quote wall.
I love it. I love it. I love the quote wall. I need to do that. I think that would be such a fun thing to do that. That's awesome. And I love that you
Yeah.
have the little dry erase things from Amazon. That sounds like something I need to link in the show notes. That sounds very cool. Okay. Well, I love that this has come full circle, that we began with connection and we're ending with connection. And thank you so much, Whitney. So glad that you could be here with us for this episode. Make sure that you sign up for our newsletter so that you get emailed when we have new episodes coming out. And that way you also don't miss our home hacks, travel tips, and our recipes that we have out as well. We're so glad that you are with us. And if you want even more interaction with us, come and see us on Instagram or our other social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, etc. We're all over the place, YouTube, you name it. Have a great day.